AI has reached a point in our society where nobody can remember historical events as they truly were, right? And images and video from the past have all been altered so much for political and social gain. No one can tell what footage is real or what was original. Okay. Obviously, I'm talking about the future, like say
Okay.
2030, not right now. But if it was,
Well,
I
right
could
now it matters too.
yeah, I could foresee this being the case, right? So people in the future,
I
in this
thought we were in
hypothetical world,
1984 for a second,
uh,
rewriting history as we go. Yeah,
people
this is a
have
phenomenon that's happening as nowadays, anyways.
correct, and so, but in this hypothetical situation, people have come together and have developed a way to authenticate video, to
Uh-huh.
know if it was real or AI generated. The problem is all of the historical documents in the past are still unknown, right? So they also developed limited time travel to revisit the past and redocument the historical events based on this new authentication method. Okay.
Oh wow.
So we have, you guys have been tasked to join the War Department and have to go back in time to
Okay.
redocument a particular war. All
Okay.
right.
Mhm.
So Drew, hit next. Which of the following wars would you go visit and why? Now, keep in mind, you have to document the life of a soldier. You have to document like point of views from both sides, all of that. Which one would you go back to visit?
And this is based on a time machine where you have to document the truth
Yeah,
versus the AI slot that
correct.
they've created.
And if you die, you just come right back to reality, um,
I
and
think
you have only about like a week to a month to be there.
with the amount of popularity and slop and how easy you could sort of twist the truth, I think the best one to give everybody a base reality of what really went down would probably be World War II, in my opinion. What?
You disagree,
And
Orson? Which one would you do?
I,
Oh, go
which
ahead,
one
Drew.
would I do? I was well, you
Why?
know, the American Civil War, we have nothing on it anyways, hardly. It's only some like text in a book. And World War One is a lot more vague. Modern wars aren't as consequential as World War Two, and World War Two shaped the whole world. And was it? What is today? There's a
Yes.
lot of like, Hitler's a good guy, Hitler's a bad guy, and oh, we didn't need to bomb Japan. Oh, we're so evil for doing it, and he's a bad guy. those Hitler is. views. Yeah, I mean, those views are taking over modern day, and just imagine if you throttle that up with AI, they're just gonna like glorify Hitler a ton
Right.
and just demonize America a ton of, well, why did we ever drop the bomb on them? So
Correct.
I feel like those are going to gain a lot of traction with AI advancements. So kind of setting the record straight of what happened in reality for that very important war, I think would
Right.
matter.
Because the whole point of this thought exercise is if AI rewrote history, and what you're saying actually totally makes sense. So what
Yeah.
about you, Drew or Orson?
Yeah.
Which war would
What
you?
about you, Drew?
Uh,
Or we went back in time, I guess. Can I choose two?
yes.
Okay, so you already said that if I die, I'm not dead. I just come back and I go back and I
Correct.
keep recording, right? That's my
Correct.
job, is to always be recording as much as possible.
That's right.
Okay. So the two I would choose, because I can't just, so the first one that I would choose is World War One. And the reason why is there's so many soldiers that were just lost, and we don't know what happened to them, which is really sad. And their families don't know
what happened. They're just MIA. No, nobody knows.
Wow,
So I feel
this
like
just
a
got
better.
really heavy all of a sudden. That
Hey,
that is so true, though, right?
yeah,
It would be, yeah, crazy. Go ahead.
you'd be discovering and recording the stuff that they didn't have the technology at the time to record. And I think that's very important. And then I also think the American Civil War, because again, they had pens and paper. Well, they had quills and ink and paper. And
They didn't
Mhm,
have
mhm.
Bics back then, apparently.
I don't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't have those. Or they might. No, they didn't have fountain pens either. But uh, it would be very beneficial for freaking America right now to know what happened in America's past what we already have that's recorded. I think one of my favorite artistic renditions of the American uh, Civil War it's obviously something to do with Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm,
and I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, really
mhm,
bloody movie.
mhm,
They
mhm.
just they just used to put what is it spears at the end and just run into battle. Like what?
Bayonets.
What?
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
and then you just have, like, big chunks of lead hurtling through your body. That would be
Just yeah.
Well, even
So
more than that, there was no way these older wars, there was no way to really save you. It's like you get shot in the arm and it shatters your bone, you just hack your limb off. That's it.
yeah, goodbye leg.
Yeah. So even the very
You
small wound could turn into a crazy
I think you're
chop you
missing
up.
what, especially in America, one of the most important ones. How
Yeah.
dare you?
The
yeah.
Revolutionary War.
The
Yeah.
Revolutionary War.
That's
Like,
a big one.
there's so much we don't know that happened there.
Uh,
Yeah.
for me, I would have to pick the Vietnam War,
Back in
because
them.
there's so many people who came back from the horrors of that war, only to
Oh
be
yeah.
treated like garbage.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And
I feel
it
so sorry for them.
right, it breaks my heart every time. And I never want to experience what war is like. War is terrible. And part of this exercise was actually to lead us in. Um, Welcome to the podcast. This is Pursuit of an Audience. I'm Philip, Orson, and Drew. We this week are going to be talking about war movies specifically. We kind of opened up with this little icebreaker to kind of showcase what we are going to be talking about. But one thing I'll mention here really quick: if you look at the choose the following, the years of each of these wars, they're actually not too far apart. So there's about a
People are
20-year
stupid.
gap, 10 to 20 years
Yeah.
between major conflicts involving the United States.
Oh.
And I think our numbers are just about up.
Oh, just stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. I no, just no.
Okay. Well, I don't
You're
know.
right. You're right. We need some more money. And it's already proven that you go to war for money. I mean, what
Well,
brought us out of the Great
w-
Depression?
we have a
World War
huge,
II.
huge world altering event happening right now in
AI.
economics and raw resources and everything. And it's the AI tsunami, right? And
Oh, I thought
Right.
you were gonna say Greenland.
yeah, they're gonna throw the servers on Greenland. Yeah, so
Well, okay. So, anyways, we don't
Well,
want to
they're
talk
putting him
about
in space.
war
yeah.
specifically too much. We were talking about war movies. The
Heck
question
yeah.
is, if wars are so terrible and they show like the crummiest part of humanity, why is there such a big audience for war movies specifically? Like, what draws people to a war movie? What do you think, Orson?
I want to raise my hand, both hands. Uh, so I would have to say when you forget what happened in history, you're bound to repeat all the errors. And I mean, you have World War II comedies. That's just, a different thing. But with the war movies in general, it's a way for us to remember.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel if we don't keep that memory, then we don't really know if you don't know your history, you don't have a plan for the future. Which is
Which is
why I
interesting
look at
because
your list here, and it's kind of depressing that we have to go to war so often. Like,
well, and
can't people just get
this is
along?
just the major wars.
Yeah.
I typed in, US wars between like the last 200 years, and there's like 6 pages or something like that.
What? Jeez.
There's a ton. Um and like I don't know. Anyways, so what about you, Drew? Why do you think people enjoy war movies so much?
um, I think there's people that like them, people that don't like them, and people that get exposed to them. I remember when I was younger, I hadn't seen very many intense movies in my life, and I I don't remember where I was, but we were watching Braveheart, and the first time I'd ever seen a really intense war movie. And who's ever seen Braveheart, especially like for the first time, it's sort of a like, holy cow. There's people running at each other with swords and things, and it's not ting tang tong, spray the ketchup. It's like is they're trying to make it real. They're trying to make it very real, and like
Yeah.
like
Ping,
same thing
ping,
with like saving
pong.
Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is sort of the same way.
Oh,
You
that's a great
you kind of
movie.
grasp the reality that like this is a movie, but at the same time, these things happen for real.
Yeah.
As sure
Yeah.
as we're standing here right now, this stuff went down.
Yeah.
So and then to sort of watch that and internalize that, you sort of start to grasp of just how unreal and how crazy it was.
Yeah.
So and I think that's a sort of addictive, and watching more of that, you want to is sort of like you hear about, oh, the forefathers did this and that, but when you watch these things, you can really begin to conceptualize what they did fight for, and what
Mhm.
was at stake, you
Yeah.
know.
Or
So
wasn't.
yeah, or wasn't, yeah. But going back to World War I and back to like why you say, for the forefathers, um, World War I, everybody was excited to go to war. They were like, oh, it's this great adventure as you get to travel across the world, and of course we're gonna just annihilate the enemy. They're just a bunch of idiots. I don't know if you guys
Which
have seen War Horse. You guys ever seen War Horse? War Horse, they start with a bunch of
maybe?
horses galloping in a tall field against a bunch of Germans that had machine guns. And they were like, let's get them.
Oh,
They were doing some old
I
horse,
thought you were gonna say they made them fight each other,
yeah.
like in Pokemon.
Yeah. And so what they did was they went through this tall grass thinking like, oh, for honor, we're going to get them. And then the machine gun just knocks everybody off their horses, like killed every one of them, all of them. And so
Yeah.
World War I was especially a very big wake up call to, war is not glorious. It's very
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Especially the
That's crazy.
mustard gas.
So over the last several weeks, I have been watching a bunch of war movies,
Heck yeah.
and out of and an interesting thing kind of occurred. I have learned why I enjoy war movies, and it's to see how people back in the day or during their time period, how they would collect information and how they would use that information to win on the battle. So like today, we have attack drones and we have satellites and we have, you know, cruise missiles that can fly around the world, whatever. And so the amount of information we have today is significantly more than what they would have had back in World War II. So the challenge of like gathering all of this information is why I enjoy watching war movies, because it's very interesting to me to learn how they had, like, whatever side you watch, how they would use whatever information they had at the time to overcome their enemies. So that being said, I have actually procured a list, top 6 war movies of what I think that I've seen recently. And so go ahead and hit next. So number 6 on the list. Go ahead and hit next and play the video.
This is your last warning. Stop now, or we will destroy you.
You guys,
Let's fly!
know where this is from?
Oh yeah. I don't think I've actually seen the movie.
It's a great movie. So I don't know what war this was. I don't think it was actually a real war, but go ahead, hit next. Master and Commander. Now, what information do you think they had at that time, and how did they acquire that information?
They had the stars, and they had one of these,
Spyglass, right?
and a sextant or whatever, where they could,
Right. There's
Yeah.
a part of the movie where there's a scientist on board. He studies. He's actually the doctor, but he studies insects and animals.
to go to the Galapagos, right?
Yeah, and so he's like running around on the island, and he goes to the other side of the island, and the enemy ship happens to be there, and he realizes, I think he's injured. He has to run with this little kid and like one of their helpers. He has to run over the whole island to get to the ship to tell them that the enemy is on the other side of the island. And
Are you sure that's not Swiss Family Robinson?
100%, it's Master Commander, because he has to leave all of his little critters and bugs, and it's just so like crazy to think that you watch a war movie and they're like they're shooting and there's like all this high impact action, but when you're on a sailing ship, it's like, okay, let's go get them.
As
Next
slow
week.
and as boring as it could be. Yeah.
And
Let's go get them next week.
And then when you get to that point where I showed in the video, you open the cannon door. I don't know what it's called. And boom, there's the enemy. He is right there, and he's about to shoot a like 36-pound ball towards your face. I mean, okay, go ahead and hit next. So that was number 6. Master and
Bunch of
Commander.
pirates.
Number 6 on the ranking, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, you
So-
gotta think about that for a second, right? What? That's a very different kind of warfare. I mean, they have giant cannonballs and they're firing them at each other, and they're hoping to sink the other ship,
Well, and the crazy thing
right?
is there's probably like 2% of the people who died from cannonballs, but 70% of the people who died from splinters.
Yeah,
Oh,
shrapnel.
weird. Yeah.
Because
Interesting.
that ball is going to boom hit the side of the ship. The ships were like super thick,
Yeah.
and all of those chunks of wood, which is, I think there's some a part in the movie where a kid gets hit and his like arms like all juicy. And
Yeah.
anyways, go ahead and hit next. Number 5. Go ahead and play.
Christ, I've never seen it this thick before. Luke's head! Luke's head!
I really like this movie.
It's not me! It's not me! It must be you! It's not me! I think he's in shock! Oh, I'm not in shock! You're in shock! Definitely not me! Definitely not me! There's gotta be somebody in the club in the cockpit! Kevin! It's tomato soup!
What was that one? What was that one, Drew?
Memphis
Belle.
Belle. This movie is a very, 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 very good movie. I've
Yes.
never seen it.
Do you want
It's
to tell
probably
us
my
a little bit
favorite.
about it?
Well, it's about the Memphis Belle. It made it through all, what is it, 25 missions to go home.
Yeah.
And they went through all kinds of insane, they have another series called Masters of the Air that gives you a deeper scoop on how just crazy it was. But with the bombers, the B-17 bombers, like a very low, there was like a, I don't know the percent, but it was like a 30% rate of survival. Like everybody was getting killed in those things like crazy. So
Yeah.
Well, I want to
if you made
bring.
it through your 25 missions, you're very, very, very lucky. So
I
and
want
these
to bring
guys,
the attention of how young everyone is,
yeah,
right? They're in their either probably mid 20s to mid
18 to
30s,
22 or something. Yeah.
and they're they're going on these missions. And if you get hit by the was it the flat guns,
Yeah.
you're toast. You're going down. Either you're not going to make it, or you're going to be in, you know, this was in Germany, right? So it would be like a
Yeah.
German prison camp, like
Yeah.
Colonel Hogan.
Yeah. The 8th Air Force made a big impact on the war. We were bombing years before they even landed the troops in Normandy. So these guys crippled, all the supply lines and made the war, possible to win. So,
What blew my mind is that they had like hundreds of planes,
thousands. Yeah.
thousands of planes
They
at
have
once.
they
And
have
in this
different
movie, particular, it shows a few scenes where the sky is just over
yes.
like this
Oh, yes.
church. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, it's nuts.
Okay,
It's unreal to think about, for sure.
next. So the thing I'll mention is the airplane. Uh, they were like, I don't know, it was crazy. It showed all the different positions and everything. It was a phenomenal
Gunner
movie.
positions. Yeah.
Yeah. And then really what like life was like. So let's go to number 4.
This man is taking no chances. He ain't even come out of his hooch for 2 days. Shoot. Grenade! Oh, that's really funny. Who's the hilarious son of a... My mistake.
You know what this one is?
Operation Dumbo Drop.
Yes. Okay.
I haven't seen that in years.
Go ahead.
Why
hit
is this
next.
so high up the list?
Hey,
You know what? I put this high on the list. Go ahead, hit next. This, I think, portrayed that war isn't always about, or no, war movies don't have to be about like all the blood and guts and the glory. And I'm pretty sure this was based on a real event, a real thing
Oh,
that
wow.
these
Yeah.
guys had
Is
to.
I gotta look that up for you.
You're gonna have to fact check me on that because I think my
Yeah,
father's the one did
that
that.
would be
But
cool if it was.
the whole idea is that like this was kind of an infantry point of view where these guys didn't really know each other, had worked together to do some like insurmountable, like monumental task, and were able to do it. Obviously, it was dramatized and it's made by Disney, so go figure.
War movie and Disney aren't really
Okay.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool though.
Which
Yeah,
means
this is a good movie.
1% of it could be true.
All right, next.
All right,
let's keep it going.
Movie.
Let's see Phil's list here. Okay,
Number
let's see the
3.
next one.
I'm interested to see all of these.
Oh boy, here we go.
You can't reach it, and you will. But you're gonna close that valve. I can't. Don't you go in case we got. And you're gonna go back down in that bilge. You're gonna do your job, sailor.
All right, what is it?
Is that U571?
Yes. Orson, you're
Yeah.
striking out.
Matthew McConaughey's What?
Go next.
Man, you're playing all the movies that I haven't seen in years.
U571. Okay, submarine.
That's
They
a pretty
are
good
they
movie.
are attempting to confiscate the Enigma machine, and they end up actually getting hit by a torpedo and have to go to the German U-boat and
Oh yeah.
navigate underwater and get away. So these like I'm pretty sure they're US soldiers
Yeah, yeah.
had to then navigate a German U-boat, and everything's in German except for one of them. One or two of them speak German. Anyways, I thought this was like one of the coolest ways to see like what it would be like to have to think on your toes and try to fix stuff. I don't know. I loved that movie. It was a great movie.
Yeah, it's scary to think about being in a submarine. Like a tank sounds scary enough, let alone being in a submarine.
Oh yeah,
Right. And then
the submarine, just the walls come in and you're just poof.
Yeah.
there's this scene in the go ahead.
You don't like, because of the pressure differences, right? It's not like you're gonna slowly drown. You are going to implode.
There's a
right?
scene in this movie that he's talking about a submarine who went over 400 meters deep or something like that, and he grabs this egg and he goes, the submarine was coming along and it just squishes and the egg. That's
I mean, we literally have. Was this a couple years ago at this point? The Titanic sub made out of carbon fiber, like it's gone.
yeah.
And someone
Yeah.
was like, "Well, it's because like when you have that much force, it literally just like vaporizes everything."
Wasn't somebody saying that we've explored more of the moon than the depths of the ocean? Or
Oh, I'm sure that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much easier to explore space than it is to explore the ocean.
Yeah, that is crazy. All
Like
right, let's go next. I'm rushing through this so that we can get to the rest of the
You're
podcast.
Russian? Is the next one to do with the Russians?
Maybe. Number 2.
Oh gosh.
It's probably not.
Drew.
Come on, boys, stay on it! When I say back up, you back up, left stick. All right! Bible, stand by, I'll call the shot. Roger! Shoot him! Steady! One more, quick! Again! On one! Tight strong.
Yes, so they were in a light tank.
Yeah, they're in the Sherman, right?
Yeah, and there was actually 2 tanks coming up, 2 Shermans, and against one of the German the
Tiger tank.
Tigers.
the Tiger tank,
Yeah.
and their buddies get taken out for a shot, and they're a little bit faster than the Tiger tank, so they come around and they're trying to get to the back of it where the metal is weak. Great movie. It kind of follows this tank crew around where they're in all kinds of different battles. It was probably dramatized quite a bit, but at the same time, it kind of shows you how 5 guys in the tank, how they kind of all had to work together, the communication that they had, and just every guy knew his stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically communicate or die.
Yes, and there are so many times in like video games and stuff where you're playing like tanks or your infantry or something, and you want to like have that same kind of like realism, and then you have some like, I don't know, 12-year-old kid on there jumping around or doing whatever, I don't know, having fun. I'm obviously, but whatever. Anyways,
He doesn't understand real games aren't made for fun. They're
You know-
made for imagination. Pretend.
Funny thing you say that. I'm sure in World War II they had a lot of veterans from World War One on the in like the German side,
Oh,
and then you'd have these 19-year-old kids coming in, you know,
wanting to play war.
and wiping the floor with them,
Yeah.
and saying how. So that's like what you're saying in real life, actually.
Oh, that's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
I guess now that you mentioned this one, the guy, one of the crew, he's a typist, a desk clerk, and somehow he gets thrown onto a truck and assigned to this tank crew, and he's never shot like at anybody in real life, barely knows how to use a gun, doesn't even know what inside of a tank looks like, and they don't
Never
take him
play
seriously.
poker with that man.
Right?
He sounds
don't know.
unlucky.
All right, let's go next. So number
Yeah.
two.
What is
number
your
one?
Number one?
Number one, hit it.
General orders, all hands, man your battle.
Combat con. Keep
Oh.
a sharp eye out for surface radar bearing 170.
Distant contact bearing
Another
160.
one I
Sonar
haven't
reports
seen
distant
yet.
contact bearing 160.
Diggy, Greyhound,
Pay
the
attention to how
contact
many
is now 10
crew
degrees to my port.
are on the deck.
Cover foul. Full mounts, fire at drill.
They're being tracked by a
Contact bearing
U-boat.
156.
Sonar reports contact bearing 156. Range steady.
That's terrifying.
So this is Greyhound, and they're on a destroyer with a convoy of over 300 merchant ships. And there's only like 2 or 3 destroyers who protect them,
Oh wow.
navigating from the United States to Europe. And what was really interesting is that at the beginning they have air cover for like a few hundred miles out to sea, and then
Yep.
no air cover from there to across the Atlantic Ocean until about a few hundred miles from Europe, right?
It's like the bombers are the same scenario.
So, right, exactly. And in the center, in the movie, they call it the Black Pit. And so these 2 destroyers, 2 or 3, I think, I don't know, there might have been more, but there weren't very many who are tasked to protect all of these ships. And in the movie, the ships have these like flare guns that they shoot up, trouble flares or
Mhm.
whatever. Anyways, a lot of comments on YouTube when I was looking around for like different shots for this, were commenting about how accurate and professional, how accurate the professionalism and the language and the way all of the people portray themselves. It was really interesting because you'd have like the guy looking at the radar who would communicate into a radio, and then the guy up on the bridge would speak what was being said on the radio live so that the captain could hear it. And there was like 5 different people for 5 different like parts of the ship, and the captain would be like, okay, hey, you go do this, you go do that, you do this, and he would just like command everything. It was, anyways, a very good movie to watch, to see how they would use like analog systems to track, and like, I don't know, it just blows my mind how they were able to find a giant pill-shaped tube underwater.
Yeah, all of their a
know-
lot of these old, especially like World War II technology, all of their like mathematical equations and little pull the dial across the map and stuff to like calculate
Correct.
things was crazy how they had specialists to do all these different things. And
Yes.
they
There's
would ask the guy that does the maps to talk to the guy that does the radio, and it was crazy.
well, there's a couple of different parts in this. Have you seen this movie, Drew?
I've seen clips of it. Yeah.
There's a
I haven't
part.
seen it.
There's a couple of parts where the captain asks, the guy who's like second in command, who's in the war room. I forget what his rank is. Anyways,
He's telling them like the coordinates, and he's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yes." And like,
yeah, well, he would ask, what heading would the ship be if they continued with their current like trajectory and stuff. So he gets on this like huge chart, he with their ship in the center, and he was like mapping out all this, and he had like this giant compass, and he's drawing all these lines, and then right where all the lines like intersect, he's like, okay, they will be right here in like, you know, a minute and a half.
Yes.
So then he would like,
were they using sonar or something for the water, right? I'm sure that's
correct. And I was talking to my dad, and he was saying that there's actually 2 different kinds of sonar.
Okay.
There's active and passive, and I'm probably going to butcher it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Active sonar is when they go beep, and they shoot out a sound wave, and it bounces off of an object, and then that tells you how far away it is. And then there's passive sonar, where they listen for things in the water, so propellers, all kinds of like random noises.
They would use the passive to always be just monitoring, and then when they would find their target, they would do active and say, "Oh, we think it's here," and then ping, they'd shoot for it.
Correct.
Is that what it is depicting? You guys might not even know the movie in The Incredible Mr. Limpet. You guys know that movie?
No.
Got a guy who wishes he was a fish, and you know, it falls in, and part of it's animated, and he turns into a fish. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's got Don
Take your word for it. Haven't heard it.
It's a World War. I think it's World War II. Yeah, it's World War II. But he like helps him find the German subs by making noise.
That could be it. Active sonar is like when you want to find a submarine under the water, because submarines are near on silent if they want to be, right?
Right. But they're a big metal object too.
Correct.
You can ping off them pretty easily.
When I play a video game called Iron Wolf, and you're in a submarine, and the destroyer comes around, and you can just hear him pinging for you. It's terrifying.
That's when they get the depth charges.
Correct, because they can tell approximately where you're at. But also, so in Greyhound, for example, there's a scene where the submarine, they shoot out this giant decoy that has a air vent on one side, and so they shoot it out of the torpedo tube, and that it's like this massive pill. I don't know how big they were, but because it's shooting out air, it spins in a circle underwater. And so in the passive radar, when they're listening in, which, by the way, I think would be like one of the hardest jobs in like all the whole Navy. You know, you're tasked on listening. Okay, so
I'm deaf.
All he can hear is this thing going spinning in the water, right? And so that sounds almost identical to a propeller. So he thinks that the submarine is somewhere, but the submarine's actually like silently sunk into the ocean somewhere, and they're like honing in on this decoy, and they shoot all their depth charges out, and then he realizes that the sound isn't changing location; it's stationary. And he's like, "Oh, I think it's stationary," and the captain's like, "What? Come again? Is it stationary or not?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's stationary. It's a decoy." and so then they go off and you know, try to find it elsewhere. There's like a pack of like 5 U-boats, I think, attacking their convoy. Anyways, great movie. Go ahead and hit next. That is that is the rank of movies. Now, not the greatest movies of all time. These are the ranking of movies I've watched within the last few weeks. So there you have it. Honorable mentions, of course, like Drew was saying, Saving Private Ryan is great. I've heard really good things about Band of Brothers. I don't know.
It's a series. It's not a movie.
It's very good. It's
like a bunch of movies.
They're like an hour long each episode, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very good. Yeah.
So, anyways, that was kind of an elongated version of why I think war movies are good. Each one of these represents a different part of war and how they would operate certain pieces of equipment. What do you guys think? What do you think? Is it terrible?
No, I think it's an excellent list. I don't think I would have picked any of those. but I had completely forgotten about Operation Dumbo Drop. I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid.
I kind of jokingly threw that one in there, but I still think war doesn't always have to be about shooting people.
Okay, so one of my favorite war genres though is war comedy. Like I think war comedy is, you can make some of the funniest movies. One of my favorite war comedies is called Kelly's Heroes. Come on. It's about a bunch of guys who find out about this gold hidden in some bank in the middle of nowhere, and they look at each other and they're like, I'm going for that gold. So they just say, to hell with the war, we're gonna go get gold. And that's the whole premise of the movie. And it's their adventures. They go, it's a great movie. It's funny.
I'll have to watch that one. I have not actually seen that one.
It's so good. And then so another good one that you're missing here is K-19, The Widowmaker. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Okay, so that's a submarine movie. If I'm remembering correctly, it's about the Russians, and they created a nuclear submarine, and it was the first journey of the submarine. And I believe at the beginning of the movie, they like try to smash it with like champagne and it doesn't shatter. And that's like taboo in what is it, nautical ships. And anyway, so it's about the men and how they are trying to survive in the middle of a nuclear meltdown on their submarine. And eventually they have to, I won't spoil it for anybody watching. Excellent movie. It will bring tears to your eyes. The courage that those men took for their friends and their comrades.
Yeah.
They're the comrades. Also, you're missing The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming.
Oh, yes. Okay. There are a lot of war movies out there, Orson. And I don't sit around watching war movies all day long. These were movies that I had just recently seen that
As
I
Jonathan
thought
Winters says in
portrayed.
it, we've got to get organized. I like comedy. Okay.
What about you, Drew?
I feel like you guys are like way over here, and I'm not even close.
Well, okay,
and,
sure.
And what I mean by that is, you guys are like, this is my favorite video game kind of thing, and I'm just thinking of war as like the most intense thing where people die. And I guess in my context, I like to understand and watch things that kind of get me in the seat of what it could have been like. And you look into like Arlington Cemetery, where they have thousands upon thousands of people buried who died. They're not here. They died in those wars. So
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So like my movie, like I mentioned, Braveheart, and Band of Brothers is good. And
well, what draws you to war movies then? Is it the action, or is it the
so
memory of people?
So I'll kind of show the evolution of my thought in this. And so when I'm younger, I'm playing Halo, I'm playing these different games, and it's fun to get in the driver's seat of, I'm in a battle, their bullets are coming at me, I'm fighting, you're building those sort of skills, you're flying planes and tanks, and the machinery is really cool. And you watch a few movies, and then later you think about these things. And if there's a movie called All Is Quiet on the Western Front, where there are these young German kids that go to battle when they're like 18, and one watches their friend get shelled and blown in half, and it's just a totally miserable experience, and he ends up dying in the end. In the middle of the movie, he's
spoiler.
Yeah, whoever hasn't seen it, which most people have probably seen it.
Yeah.
If
they haven't seen it already and they're watching us,
Could we
get
have
spoiled
said
by it.
spoiler alert at the
I
beginning
don't
of the
think
episode?
anybody's going to watch our podcast and be like, darn, they spoiled that movie.
I mean, all this stuff has been released for like years and years. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh well. I don't know. So I guess my perspective on all these things, it's like, yeah, like the movie The Patriot. Have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah,
This
that's
a
an
lot of
awesome movie.
terrible, good things that happen, but terrible. You know,
Guy comes out with this freaking
You know,
hatchet and he just chops
the
people.
cost of like the cost of revenge. Because okay, so here's the thing. So like,
It's based
think-
off of, I believe, Farmer Tom. My sister
Is
would
it?
have to correct me on that. It's based off of a true story, but obviously Hollywood took their.
So you ask yourself, what can get people to kill each other in such a way beyond commanders just saying, "Oh, kill them"? You're like, okay, I'm trained to do it. I'll do it. And I think a lot of it goes down to retaliation cycles. So a lot of movies portray this where you're doing fine, someone comes in and kills someone that you care about, and then you just see red and you just want to end them no matter what. And you kill some of their, a lot of the cowboys and Indians them kind of thing. Like you go into those tribes, you slaughter all the women and children, and then those guys slaughter the next group of pioneers, and it's just a vicious thing that just never ends.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the Middle East drama is full of that. Imagine all the
Well,
people that are
even,
dying recently.
yeah,
They're gonna
all
go
the-
15 years from now, they're just gonna say, I don't care, whatever, I'm just gonna go do it to get revenge. So
Yeah. I was going to say that sounds like neighborhoods all over.
yeah.
So
So
let me ask you this. Let's move on.
All right.
One thing that kind of was interesting to me was there were a lot of World War II movies that came out in like the late 50s, 60s.
Mhm.
And that's only like what, 10, 15 years after World War II?
I mean, it's fresh off the press,
Right?
right?
they were
It's so
using the
fresh.
military equipment that they used in the war to make the movies. Which
Correct.
makes the
So-
movies really cool, actually.
Fast forward to today, war movies are still being made from World War II. Like there's not a whole lot of war movies.
It's a
for
popular one, but
modern-
there's definitely
I mean,
they
there's
have
several, but
Gen-
you're right. There's not as
Generation
many as World War
Kill.
II.
If you guys have ever heard of that, Generation Kill, they had another one called Warfare. This is a really intense movie.
I guess they have a lot of like action
Black Hawk Down is another one.
action movies.
You guys
so-
are forgetting the most important war movie of our whole generation.
Independence Day?
Independence Day.
I knew you were gonna
say that. Literally the best
Theoretical war.
presidential speech ever.
I know.
Bill
I knew.
Pullman.
I should have had a timer to see how long it took one of you two to be like, Independence Day was the best war movie.
The best war speech, I guess, for sure.
Oh, dude, hands down.
Yeah.
That's who I want for president.
Oh, okay. Well, let's think about this for a second. How would you give a war speech to the world, not your own country? Like that's
Yeah,
what he
that's-
did,
that-
right? He was
that's the speech.
broadcasting the speech to the entire world, saying it's our world or not.
The movie Independence Day was so good because at the time when you watched it, all this, everything about it felt so
Cool.
I don't know, not realistic, but you know what I mean? It was engaging. It didn't
Yeah.
seem so, it was fake, but it was done really well.
Yeah.
So you were kind of swept in by it. So
I mean,
when the aliens were taking over the world, they basically atomic bombed all the cities and just slaughtering everybody. And they had these powerful shields to block our cool jets and stuff. And so it's like, he's like, what are we going to do? We're just going to lay down and die, or are we going to all band together and fight them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay. Well, if you brought up Independence Day, what about War of the Worlds?
which one? 1950s or the one with Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
Okay. That's a pretty good one.
I like
That's
that
we're
one.
just that's
terrifying.
that's almost
I
like a
had
pandemic
nightmares.
movie, really.
Yeah.
It's just it's like
Yeah,
nothing you can
kind
do
of.
to stop it, and then
And then all of a sudden they just,
it cures itself and it's gone.
the bacteria on our planet is too much for the enemy, and they all die. So
Yeah.
they had this mass extinction event, and now the world is, on the brink
Yeah.
of extermination, and then bacteria kills it. That is the most lame plot hole ever.
Well,
At least in
it's cool
Independence Day,
because
like,
it shows
awesome.
that like some alien creature can't come here and take us on because our basic anatomy and evolution will kill them because we're so toxic, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toxic.
So,
Yeah.
okay, we got 10 minutes left.
Really?
If we are making a lot of the war movies from the past,
Mhm.
let's say 50 years from now, what is the war movie going to look like for modern warfare with like
War games.
really? Do you think they will
1980
portray
Matthew Roderick.
they'll portray today's like drone warfare with
Yeah, but like the war game end of the world thing has been happening since the 60s, you know. So the Ukraine thing is a very interesting one because they say, "Oh, Russia has all these bombers and tanks and the US supplying Ukraine has all these nukes and all this cool stuff to beat them," and it's basically fly-by-wire drones and trenches. Like World War One freaking
Yeah.
trenches
Yeah.
in modern
I don't-
day. That is how
I
they're
don't-
fighting their war. And
I
all the
don't
tanks got blown up by
think that
missiles and things.
I don't think that we're going to necessarily have. So World War II, I don't want to say it was a special war. I mean, it very much so was. I mean, lots was defined by World War
Especially
II.
horrific, yeah.
It was, well, yeah, but it was the reason it's such a big deal is the whole world was at war.
Well,
And
the world order resulted based on that war.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was everything was
So
at stake for that thing. It was
I don't
all-
think we're gonna get past World War II movies for a very long time because there's something unique and special about them that hits home for
Yeah.
most
So,
people. We're
that's
probably not
why-
gonna have another one until World War III.
That's why
Yeah.
I opened with the icebreaker, because at what point do we start making AI videos? I mean, that like people are already starting to make
you
AI
know-
videos, right?
You know what videos are going to be super good? Super good is like World War II AI videos because they have all the old footage of the actual battle. And so they'll be able to stitch that together and make scenes that look
Yeah.
real as real.
Yeah.
That'll be kind of like scary and cool at the same time.
Well, and who knows what if they'll try to spin it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of
How will you know that it was the actual real footage when they
Yeah.
like, this is the real footage of the United States bombing ranges, and they show all these like kindergartners and stuff.
Yes, information warfare is going to be the warfare.
There you go. Interesting.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just
Right?
sound lame?
Terrible. Yes.
It sounds terrible, but
Humans
that's-
are terrible.
Yeah,
But we're
that's
also
what's gonna go
good.
down.
We make good things, like we made this podcast.
Yeah, good.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts? War movies. Why do you like them? Why do you hate them? Should we make them?
I like them because they show us they show us the stories of my ancestors and what they have gone through. And honestly, I want to know what our audience thinks. Like down in the comments, please. What are your favorite war movies and why? Let's have a discussion.
Yeah, I like it. What do you think, Drew?
I like the you guys covered a lot of sort of the fun ones, and I like that, like the escape from the prison. They get caught by the Viet Cong or the Japanese, and they're put in the Germans, and they're put in the camps, and they have to
The Great Escape.
Yeah, the Great Escape and
Empire of the Sun.
Empire of the Sun, exactly. That's a very good movie. Yeah, and
Stalag
so you get to see sort of
17?
the dynamics of sort of the surviving the camps and innovating and escaping and
Yeah.
and those I like to watch, and the ones that are really good, I like and I don't like to watch because I don't like to see that stuff because it gets really bad. But
Yeah.
you,
Hogan's Heroes.
it's kind of like you. Well,
Gomer
not
Pyle.
that.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry. Drew's all trying to be serious. And
I know. The episode
Yeah.
is a little serious sometimes.
Yeah.
It's my fault. I
Yeah.
did
Well, back to video games. What else is that going on?
it. Medal of Honor,
jeez.
Call of Duty,
you know,
the original World
I
War
don't
II
know.
version.
Like, I feel like nowadays and age. Okay, so I'll wrap up with this. One thought I had was when 30 plus years ago, kids would have their GI Joes, and they would have their little like tanks and stuff that they would play with, right? So they grew up with these little action figures playing the soldier or cops and robbers or whatever. But yet kids these days are playing these, like, I would say, ultra realistic looking games. I wouldn't say that they're represent what war is really like, to a degree, but like, what does that even look like in the future when we're just commanding drones or autonomous vehicles from a computer screen? Like, kind of a scary thought.
A really funny thing is, I don't know if you guys have gone shooting much. I know Phil and me have gone shooting. And so you notice a couple of things, like a lot of times weapons go 10 times heavier than you think they're going to weigh, and they're louder and just insane. And you just think about like a war with these things just feels just unreal. But back to the video game thing, the craziest experience ever. I had an AK, and then my friend had an AR-15, and I had never shot one before.
Wait, in a game or in real life?
In real life. In real life.
Okay.
I had never shot one, so we were like, "Oh, here, you try the AK, I'll try the AR." And then I was trying the AR. It had a little scope. It felt like a little Call of Duty style of feel. I picked it up, very light. I went to aim it, shot it. It felt like apples to apples, the exact same as if I'm in Call of Duty. It felt the same, and it freaked me out because it was lightweight, the kick and how the scope was going and everything. It felt exactly the same. So
wow.
That was like a shock to me, thinking like, when they say like they're just playing video games and they're getting these skills to hit things, like they're developing some skills there. It's not just a game. There's stuff going on. That was a big aha moment for me.
The biggest thing I could think is like tracking a target, like mentally knowing like I'm going to have to lead the target a little bit.
Yeah.
But the hand-eye coordination of like actually, and also the biggest thing that video games don't do is teach you the emotional like tonnage that you have to deal with on the battlefield.
Well, battlefield. I'm just saying target practice.
Correct.
Target practice, from going from a mouse to holding it for an AR, to me was like nothing. It didn't feel much different.
You don't see
them moving it around and stuff.
There's a live gun in my hands. I am not comfortable. That's why I'm in tech. I'm not comfortable doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, we're going to call it. Thank you all for watching. This was an episode on war movies. It was a little heavy at times, but kind of fun. We tried to keep it light, but hope you enjoy. Comment, like Orson said, about your favorite war movies. What do you guys say? Signing off? I don't know why I saluted. Good, you guys
I'm
later.
not in the military, so
we're not in the military. Sorry, I apologize.